Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to talk about something we rarely acknowledge: the cost of being too friendly. We live in a world where we are told to be kind, to be accommodating, to be available. And while kindness is a virtue, there is a fine line between being kind and being used. I know what it feels like to say yes when you want to say no, to offer your time when you barely have any for yourself, to let people take more than they should because you're afraid of being seen as selfish. But let me tell you this: you are not a doormat. You are not here to please everyone at the expense of your own peace. You see, not everyone clapping for you is your friend. Not everyone smiling at you wishes you well. And the more you give without boundaries, the more people will take without gratitude. So today I urge you, stop being too friendly. Stop bending so much that you break. Learn to set boundaries, protect your energy, and most importantly, respect yourself enough to say no when it's needed. In a world that constantly preaches kindness and generosity, it is easy to believe that giving endlessly is a virtue. From a young age, we are taught to be polite, accommodating, and always willing to help. While kindness is indeed a beautiful trait, it becomes problematic when it lacks boundaries. There is a fine line between being kind and being taken advantage of, yet so many of us struggle to see that line until it is too late. People who are naturally warm-hearted and friendly often find themselves in situations where their generosity is mistaken for weakness. They go out of their way to help others, always saying yes, always making time, always ensuring that no one around them feels uncomfortable. They believe that this is the right way to live, that their goodness will be recognized, that the people they help will appreciate their efforts. But the truth is, not everyone values kindness the way you do. Some see it as an opportunity, some take advantage of it. And the moment they realize you have no boundaries, they will keep taking more than they give. The problem with being excessively friendly is that it attracts all kinds of people, including those who have no intentions of reciprocating your kindness. You start noticing that people only reach out when they need something. They only remember you when they have a problem. They know that no matter how inconvenient it is for you, you will always say yes. And so, without realizing it, you become the person who is always there for everyone, but when you need someone, the room is empty. Kindness without limits can lead to emotional exhaustion. When you keep giving without refueling yourself, you start feeling drained. You start feeling unappreciated, invisible, and sometimes even resentful. Yet, the cycle continues because saying no feels wrong. The thought of disappointing others makes you anxious. You convince yourself that being available for everyone is your strength. But deep down, you know it is breaking you. When you do not set boundaries, people assume you do not have any. They assume it is okay to call you at any time, to ask for favors without considering your situation, to expect you to prioritize their needs over your own. They do not think twice before taking because you have never given them a reason to. And the worst part, the moment you finally say no, you become the bad person. The moment you decide to step back, people start questioning your change in behavior. They make you feel guilty for choosing yourself, even though they never felt guilty for using you. At some point, you must ask yourself, is it kindness or is it self-sacrifice? There is nothing wrong with being a good person, but there is everything wrong with allowing people to take advantage of your goodness. Kindness is not about making yourself small for others to feel big. It is not about exhausting yourself to keep others comfortable. True kindness comes with balance. It is about giving, but also knowing when to stop. In life, we often assume that just because we care about people, they are entitled to our time, energy, and emotional support. We convince ourselves that being available for others at all times is the right thing to do, that it makes us good friends, good colleagues, good family members. But the reality is, not everyone deserves unrestricted access to you. Not everyone who enters your life has pure intentions, and not everyone who smiles at you has your best interests at heart. Learning to recognize this truth is essential for protecting your mental and emotional well-being. There are people people who only seek you out when they need something. They appear in your life during their tough times, expecting you to offer comfort, solutions, or resources. And because you are naturally kind, you open your heart to them. You answer their late night calls. You cancel your own plans to be there for them. You invest time and effort into making their lives easier. But once their problem is solved, they disappear. They stop checking on you, stop reciprocating the energy, stop making an effort. It is as if your existence only matters when it is convenient for them. The hard truth is when you give unlimited access to people who do not value you, you allow them to take you for granted. They start assuming that no matter how they treat you, you will always be there. They do not appreciate the sacrifices you make because to them, your kindness is an expectation rather than a choice. They begin to see you as someone who exists to serve their needs rather than as an individual with your own life, emotions, and struggles. When you do not set limits on who gets to have access to your time and energy, you end up feeling drained and unfulfilled. You spend so much time catering to others that you neglect yourself. You find yourself emotionally exhausted, yet unable to say no because you fear disappointing people. But here is the truth. If someone only values you when they need something from you, they do not truly value you. If someone is only present in your life when they are benefiting from you, they are not meant to be in your inner circle. You must learn to differentiate between those who genuinely care for you and those who only keep you around for their own convenience. True connections are built on mutual effort, respect, and appreciation. The people who truly deserve your time are the ones who are there for you in your lowest moments, not just when they need help. They are the ones who check in on you, who listen to you, who give as much as they take. It is not selfish to limit access to your energy. It is necessary. Not everyone should be allowed into your personal space. Not everyone should have the privilege of knowing your struggles, your thoughts, your heart. Protecting your energy is not about pushing people away. It is about making sure that the right people stay close. Saying no is one of the hardest things for people who are naturally kind, empathetic, and giving. From a young age, we are taught that saying no is rude, that it makes us selfish, that it disappoints others. So we grow up with this deep-seated fear of rejection, of hurting people, of being seen as unkind. We convince ourselves that in order to be good, we must always say yes. Yes to favors, yes to plans we do not want to attend, yes to responsibilities that overwhelm us. But what we fail to realize is that constantly saying yes to others often means saying no to ourselves. There is a difference between being kind and being a people pleaser. Kindness comes from the heart, but people pleasing comes from fear. Fear of being disliked, fear of confrontation, fear of letting others down. And the more you allow that fear to dictate your choices, the more you lose control over your own life. You end up prioritizing everyone else's needs over your own, stretching yourself thin and exhausting yourself emotionally. You feel drained, yet you continue because you believe that setting boundaries is wrong. But here's the truth. Saying no is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-respect. It means you recognize your own worth, your own limits, your own needs. It means you refuse to allow people to take advantage of your time and energy. It means you understand that your well-being is just as important as anyone else's. When you say no to things that do not serve you, you make room for the things that do. You create space for peace, for rest, for personal growth. Many people struggle with guilt when they say no. They feel as though they are letting someone down, as if they are responsible for making everyone happy. But the reality is you are not responsible for how others feel about your boundaries. If someone gets upset because you refuse to overextend yourself for them, that is not a reflection of your character. It is a reflection of their entitlement. The people who truly care about you will respect your limits even if they do not like them. The ones who only value you for what you can do for them will guilt trip you, manipulate you, and make you feel bad for prioritizing yourself. And that is exactly why setting boundaries is necessary. It helps you see who truly respects you. Saying no does not make you a bad person. It does not mean you are unkind or unhelpful. It simply means you value yourself enough to choose where your energy goes. You have the right to protect your peace. You have the right to say no without explaining yourself. You have the right to walk away from situations that drain you. Because at the end of the day, the only person who will truly look out for you is you. Being too friendly can often feel like a positive trait. After all, kindness and warmth create connections, build relationships, and make life more meaningful. But when friendliness comes at the cost of your own well-being, it becomes a silent burden. Many people do not realize that excessive friendliness without boundaries can lead to deep emotional exhaustion. The constant effort to be there for everyone, to please others, to maintain a reputation of being the nice one, can slowly drain you, leaving you feeling unappreciated, unheard, and even invisible. The problem is that when you are always available, people begin to take you for granted. They assume you will always listen, always help, always say yes. And because you have conditioned yourself to prioritize others over yourself, you find it difficult to say no. Even when you are tired, even when you need a break, you continue giving because you fear that setting boundaries will make you seem rude or distant. But the truth is, constantly putting others first at the expense of your own peace does not make you kind. It makes you emotionally exhausted. Emotional exhaustion is different from physical tiredness. It is not something that sleep alone can fix. It is the feeling of being mentally drained, of carrying too many responsibilities, of feeling obligated to be available for everyone. It is the overwhelming realization that no matter how much you give, people will always expect more. And the worst part? Most of the people you overextend yourself for would not do the same for you. When you are too friendly, you attract people who do not respect your time. They call you when they need something, expecting you to drop everything for them. They ask for favors without considering if you are busy or struggling with your own problems. They expect you to always listen, but they rarely ask how you are doing. And because you are used to being the strong one, the supportive one, you suppress your own emotions just to make sure others are comfortable. The cost of this behavior is high. You start feeling emotionally depleted, disconnected from yourself, and even resentful towards the people you once willingly helped. You begin to wonder why no one checks on you the way you check on them. You question why your kindness is not reciprocated. You feel like no matter how much you give, it is never enough. But the reality is, it is not about how much you give. It is about the people you are giving to. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not everyone should have access to your kindness. If being too friendly is costing you your peace, your happiness, and your mental health, then it is time to reevaluate the way you give. It is okay to care for others, but it is just as important to care for yourself, because the more you give without limits, the more you lose yourself in the process. In a world obsessed with social validation, many people fall into the trap of wanting to be liked by everyone. They adjust their behavior, suppress their true feelings, and go out of their way to accommodate others, all in an effort to maintain a positive image. They say yes when they want to say no, they tolerate disrespect to avoid conflict, and they shrink themselves just to fit in. But the harsh reality is that no matter how much you try, you will never be able to please everyone. And more importantly, being liked by everyone is far less valuable than being respected. When you prioritize being liked, you put yourself in a position where you are constantly seeking approval. You become overly concerned with how people perceive you, and in the process, you start losing sight of who you truly are. You become someone who avoids confrontation, even when it is necessary. You allow people to walk over you because you fear that standing up for yourself will make you seem difficult or unkind. But what you fail to realize is that people do not truly value those who are always agreeable. They value those who stand firm in their beliefs, who have the courage to set boundaries, and who do not compromise their self-worth for validation. Respect is built on strength, self-awareness, and authenticity. It is not about being rude or dismissive, but about knowing your value and refusing to lower your standards just to be accepted. When people respect you, they think twice before taking advantage of you. They understand that your time is valuable, that your kindness is not to be exploited, and that your opinions deserve to be heard. But when you are too focused on being liked, you allow people to treat you however they want, because your biggest concern is staying in their good graces. The truth is, people-pleasing is exhausting. It requires constant effort, endless sacrifices, and a complete disregard for your own well-being. It makes you a prisoner to others' expectations, forcing you to mold yourself into whatever version of you they prefer. But in doing so, you end up losing the most important thing, your self-respect. When you let go of the need to be liked, you gain something far more powerful, the ability to live on your own terms. You no longer waste energy worrying about what others think, and instead you focus on what truly matters: your peace, your growth, and your happiness. Not everyone will like you, and that is okay. The people who truly matter will appreciate you for who you are, not for how much you accommodate them. They will respect your decisions, your boundaries, and your individuality. And the ones who do not, they were never meant to be a part of your life in the first place. The moment you choose respect over approval, you reclaim your power. You stop allowing people to define your worth, and you start living unapologetically as the person you were always meant to be. In a world that constantly demands our attention, time, and energy, learning to set boundaries is not just important, it is essential. Too often, people feel guilty for saying no, for distancing themselves from toxic environments, or for prioritizing their well-being. They convince themselves that being available at all times is a sign of strength and loyalty. But the truth is, protecting your mental and emotional well-being is not selfish. It is necessary. Without boundaries, you leave yourself open to exhaustion, manipulation, and emotional burnout. Many people struggle to set boundaries because they fear disappointing others. They worry that saying no will make them seem rude or unkind. As a result, they stretch themselves thin, agreeing to things they do not want to do, engaging in conversations that drain them, and allowing people into their lives who bring nothing but negativity. But the reality is, when you fail to set boundaries, you teach people that it is okay to overstep. You show them that your time and energy are easily accessible, regardless of how it affects you. The more you allow people to take advantage of your kindness, the more they will. Some will continuously seek your emotional support without ever asking how you are doing. Some will expect you to be available 24/7, disregarding your personal space and responsibilities. Some will make you feel obligated to tolerate disrespect just to maintain a sense of peace. And the more you tolerate these behaviors, the more they will continue. Setting boundaries does not mean cutting people off or becoming unkind. It means teaching people how to treat you. It means letting them know what is acceptable and what is not. It means understanding that you do not have to explain yourself for choosing peace over chaos, for choosing yourself over toxic relationships. The people who truly value you will respect your limits. The ones who get offended by your boundaries are the very reason you need them in the first place. When you start protecting your mental and emotional well-being, you will notice a shift in your life. You will no longer feel obligated to attend every event, answer every message immediately, or be there for people who would never do the same for you. You will start valuing your time, prioritizing your energy, and surrounding yourself with those who uplift you rather than drain you. And in doing so, you will begin to feel lighter, more at peace, and more in control of your own happiness. Not everyone deserves access to you. Your energy is valuable, and it should not be wasted on those who only take without giving. You have every right to distance yourself from negativity, to say no without guilt, and to prioritize your own mental and emotional health. The moment you recognize this, you stop allowing others to dictate your worth, and you start living life on your own terms with peace, clarity, and self-respect. At the end of the day, being kind does not mean being available to everyone at all times. It does not mean sacrificing your peace to please others or allowing yourself to be drained by people who do not value you. True kindness starts with self-respect. It starts with understanding that not everyone deserves access to your time, energy, or heart. When you stop being too friendly, you do not become cruel, you become conscious. You start making choices that serve your well-being, not just the expectations of others. You learn that saying no is not rude, it is necessary. You realize that respect is more valuable than approval, and that the right people will honor your boundaries, while the wrong ones will reveal themselves the moment you set them. So choose yourself, protect your energy, set boundaries without guilt, because at the end of the day, your peace, your happiness, and your self-respect matter more than being liked by everyone.